Hello Algebra 1. Today you are going to be watching a video about how to write the equation and graph horizontal and vertical lines. So this is actually not very difficult at all. I think you'll have a very easy time with it. So here we go. Horizontal and vertical lines are a little different than the lines we have been dealing with. We've already talked a little bit about them when exploring slope, so we're going to do a little review. First thing we're going to do is find the slope between the following points. We're also going to draw a sketch of what the line would look like. So you can either use your jumps or your slope formula. I'm going to go back and forth. So I'm going to do jumps for this one. -8 to -8, that's going up 0. 3 to 7 is going up 4. Dependent variable, which is my y, always goes on top. 0 divided by 4 is 0. A slope of 0 means we have what type of line? Horizontal. Okay, remember horizontal 0. ZZ. All right, next one. Let's do the formula for this one. So x1, y1, x2, y2. I'll take y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. On the bottom, I'll get a plus plus. -18 minus 12. Take a second to type that in. You should get -30. Any number divided by 0 is undefined. Okay, undefined vertical line. Okay, one more of these. I'm going to do the formula again. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you should get a 0 over -9 minus 4 is -13. 0 on top gives you a 0. That means you have a horizontal line. All right, so we can identify horizontal and vertical lines already from their slopes, but now we're going to actually start to graph them and to write their equations. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is to take the points from this table and we're going to plot them on this grid. Okay, so 5, -2, 5, -1, 5, 0, and 5, 1. And we're going to draw a line. So what type of line do you have here? This should be vertical. And what you should notice about all of the points that you plotted is that every single one of them has an x value of 5. And so what's really crazy about vertical lines is vertical lines are the only type of lines that are not y equals. They are actually x equals. And the equation is just x equals 5 because every x is 5. That's it. That's the whole equation. You don't need to find the slope. You don't need to find an intercept. It's just x equals 5. All right, let's try this one now. Plot the points. -4, -3, -3, -3, 0, -3, 5, -3. And what type of line do you have here? This line is horizontal. And what you should notice is that all of your y values are -3. Now, a horizontal line, we've talked about the equation a little bit. You can write this horizontal line in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We talked about, all right, well, horizontal lines have a slope of 0, and the y-intercept is at -3. So sometimes we wrote it like this, but we also said, well, that's just going to cancel, and you can just have y equals -3. This is because all of your y's are just -3. Okay, so you don't even really have to think about the slope anymore. Your y's are all -3, and so that's just your equation. But this first way that we wrote it is still fine. You can still write it either way. All right, so now we're going to write the equation of these lines. One thing that people mess up is they switch which types of lines are x equals and which type of lines are y equals. So here is how I remember it. Okay, HIVX. So HIVX is just, a little acronym here. The H stands for horizontal. Horizontal lines are always y equals. The V stands for vertical. Vertical lines are always x equals. You could also do a variation of this. If you write it like this, HOIVX, it's horizontal, slope of 0. Okay, so that's a 0. Horizontal lines are y equals. Vertical, slope is undefined, the U for undefined, and they're always x equals. So either of these will help you figure out how to graph. All right, let me show you. So this is a vertical line. Vertical lines are x equals. And the way you decide what x value it is you just look and you see where it hits the x-axis. X equals 4. Okay, all of your x values are 4. So there you go, that's your equation. That's it. Okay, 7 is horizontal. Horizontal is y equals. Y equals, your intercept is 7. If you want to say 0x plus 7, because your slope is 0, that's fine. Or this. Okay, please note though, for vertical lines, this is the only way you can write the line. This isn't slope-intercept form since it's x equals. Vertical lines are their own thing. So this is the only way you can write a vertical lines equation. All right, let's try the next one. 8, vertical line, x equals. And it hits your axis at -4. Okay. All right, this guy, horizontal line, y equals. Hits at 8. There you go. See how fast these are? You don't need to worry about the slope. Horizontal and vertical lines are kind of their own thing. All right, it's hard to see, but it's this line right here, vertical, x equals, and it's right on the axis, so it's actually 0. This is what's really weird. X equals 0 is actually the y-axis, which I know is a little confusing. Okay. This guy right here, this line, horizontal, y equals. And again, it will be 0. And strangely enough, y equals 0 is actually the x-axis. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go backwards. Now you have the equations of the line, and you're actually going to graph them. So again, I recommend you use this HIVX method. So we say y equals is horizontal, and we're going to go through -6. So here's where you're going to be careful. Make sure you find -6 on the y-axis. And then you're just going to draw a horizontal line. Okay, you just need one dot for these, and then just draw your line straight across. X equals, that's vertical. Make sure you go to -2 on the x-axis. Okay, so whatever letter it tells you. And then again, vertical, because x equals is a vertical line. Okay, 14, x equals again, vertical. Make sure you go to 6 on the x-axis. Whatever letter it tells you, that's the axis you're going to go through. Okay, because again, vertical and horizontal lines are kind of their own thing. Okay, all right, nice job. Next, we're going to write the equation of the line given the points below and graph. So here's the thing. For the past couple days, we've been doing the same thing over and over again. You're given 2 points, you find the slope, point-slope form, and then distribute to slope-intercept. What you're going to notice about these types of questions is that it doesn't specify what form to put your answer in. It doesn't say PSF. It doesn't say SIF. And that in itself should be a hint to you. Okay, when there's no form given for you to put your answer in, it usually means you have a horizontal or vertical line. All right, so really be on the lookout for that. It doesn't say anything about put this in point slope form, put this in slope intercept form. It just says write the equation. That should be a hint, that wording, that this isn't quite the same thing that you're used to dealing with. So here's the thing. You can go ahead and you can find the slope between these 2 points, but it's not going to help you. What you need to do from now on is before you find the slope, you need to look at your 2 points and you need to see if they have any common points here. And they do. They both have a common y. Their y's are both 5. That means automatically that this is going to be a horizontal line because both of your y's are 5. All right, again, Hyvix, your y's are the same, horizontal line. So you don't need to find slope. You don't need to do point slope form. You don't need to distribute and solve for y. All you need to do is say, oh, the y's are both 5, y equals 5. That's it. Okay, you can do that anytime you see a common x or common y value in your points. All right, so now we're going to graph. Y equals horizontal, find the 5, make sure on the y-axis, because it says y equals, draw your horizontal line. Okay, all right, let's try this again. Look at your points, don't just find the slope. Look at your points, find what's common. Ah, both of the x's are 2. So that's your equation. X equals 2. All right, these should be really fast, really fast. X equals vertical line, go to 2 on the x-axis, draw your line. Okay. All right, take a look at 17. What's common, your x's or your y's? Should be your y's. So y equals 0. Okay, again, Hyvix, y equals is horizontal. So you're going to 0 and you're drawing a horizontal line, which is really your x-axis. All right, I want you to take a minute and I want you to try 18 through 20 on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and then we're going to go over the answers. All right, here you go. Let's check our answers. For 18, you should notice both of your x's are -8, so that's your equation. X equals -8. X equals is a vertical line. Notice again, my -8 is on the x-axis. The letter that I tell you is the axis that the line goes through. Okay, again, this is only true for vertical and horizontal lines. Okay, they're kind of their own thing. Number 19, your y's are both equal to -7, and so your equation is y equals -7. Oh, that's horizontal, and there's my line right down there. Okay. And 20, you have both of your x's equal to 0, so that's your equation, x equals 0. X equals, remember, is a vertical line, and there it is right there. Okay. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is a little review, just to make sure we remember all of the stuff that we've been doing before this. So the first thing we're going to do is write the equation of the line in point slope form given these points. Now notice they tell you what form you want, which means automatically we're not dealing with horizontal and vertical lines. You can tell because none of the x's match up, none of the y's match up. So this is just a normal sort of situation. We are going to go ahead and find our slope first. Okay. So m equals, or that's my slope, y2 minus y1. Make sure you have your double negative there, over x2 minus x1. 17 minus -8, or 17 plus 8, is 25 over 5. Make sure you simplify. You should get a slope of 5. All right, so now we can pick whichever point we want. I'm going to pick this one. And we're going to do point slope form. Start with your y, opposite of your y coordinate, equals slope, parentheses, x, opposite of your x coordinate. If you liked the other one, it would look like this. Excuse me. So it does say point slope form. Remember, P for parentheses, you're going to leave it like this. You only need to give me one answer. Okay, I just gave you both in case you wanted to check and see if you got them both right. Okay, but you only need to give me one. All right, number 2, this time we're going to do slope-intercept form. So SIF, given m equals 10 and b equals 0, -8. So there are 2 ways to do this. The first way, I'm going to go ahead and do point slope form. Okay, because I already have my slope here. So y, opposite of my y, equals slope, x, and then you can put +0 or -0, it doesn't matter. Now it does say slope-intercept form. It does say slope-intercept form. So we are going to distribute now and solve. And once you distribute, we're going to subtract the 8 over, and 0 minus 8 is -8. There you go. Now, here's the thing. What you need to remember is if you are given a starting point, just like we did at the beginning of the chapter, you can go ahead and you can plug those numbers in right away. Remember, you're dealing with y equals mx plus b here. This is m. That's your starting point. That's b. So you can just go straight to your answer. Okay, if you prefer to do point slope form, that's fine. But this is going to be a faster method. We can only do that when we have a starting point. All right, 3, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form given a slope of -4. Whoops. Okay, so slope-intercept form again. We're going to distribute and solve. And a point of -10, 2. Notice this is not a starting point. Okay, there's no 0, comma, so we cannot do this fast method here. We're going to have to do this. Okay, start and point slope. Y, opposite of my y coordinate, equals slope, parentheses, x, opposite of my x coordinate. This is point slope, PSF, because we have parentheses. To get slope-intercept, I need to distribute -4x times 10 is -40, and then I'm solving for y. You're going to add your 2 over. Be careful. -40 plus 2 is -38. That's your slope-intercept form. Okay. All right, and finally, these 2 guys here, we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. I'm going to have you put a spot for m, and then if you notice, we also have our y-intercept, so we're going to do a spot for that for both of these, and then a line for our equation. Okay. It kind of looks like a face. All right, so again, slope-intercept form looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. Since we can find our slope and we have our y-intercepts, we're just going to need to plug those values in. We do not need to do point slope form in this situation. Okay, here we go. Slope. Up and over. I think that's up 5 over 2. So your slope is 5 over 2. Y-intercept is a 0, comma, -6. Make sure you have that 0, comma. Just plug your values in. You should have y equals 5/2, x minus 6. All right, last one. We're going down and over, down 4 over 4. Make sure you divide and simplify. -4 divided by 4 is -1. Y-intercept at 0, 5. Equation, plug your values in. Y equals -1x plus 5. All right, great. So next, we are going to talk about cutting your homework. So why don't you find it? It is worksheet 5. Okay. You can pause the video if you need to, and when you're ready, press play, and I will tell you which problems we're going to cut. All right, so worksheet 5. I'm going to take you through the problems as well, even the ones we're not going to cut. So number 1 and 2, you're using the graph to decide whether or not each point lies on the graph of the line. So you can circle which one is correct, or you can just put yes and no. So again, you're just going to check 0, 8, is that on your line? Okay, if it is, yes. 8, 0, is that on your line? If it is, yes. If not, no. Okay. 3 and 4, we are cutting. 5 through 7, you are graphing the lines. Remember Hyvix, horizontal y equals, vertical x equals. Okay, so that should take you all of 5 seconds. 8, 9, and 10, you are writing the equation of the line, and then you're going to draw a parallel line. Oh, actually, you're doing this through 13, through the point provided. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I want the equation of this line. It's horizontal, so it's going to be y equals, it is going through 6, so y equals 6 is my equation. I want a parallel line through 2, 3. So what I mean by that is I find 2, 3, and if your equation is, or if your line is horizontal, then the parallel line also has to be horizontal. So you just draw a horizontal line. Okay. So you do have to draw it going the same way because otherwise the line isn't parallel. All right, so for example, this one, it's vertical, so it's x equals, that's a -7, I believe. And then we're drawing a parallel line through -3, 4. So you'll find that point. And then because this line is vertical, your parallel line needs to be vertical as well. Okay, so that's what you're doing for these guys. 14, you're going to explain using complete sentences how these graphs are different. Okay, so describe how they look. Why are they different? 15 and 16, you're going to write the equation of the line and then graph the line. Keep in mind, I didn't tell you point-slope form or slope-intercept form, so that should give you a hint that you don't need to find your slope, and you should just be able to go straight to the equation. Okay, and then you're going to graph. We're going to cut 18 because I don't feel like doing it. 17 is fine. You're going to find your slope, do PSF, distribute to SIF, identify slope and y-intercept, and then you're going to graph for me. Okay. And then on the back, we're going to cut 19 and 20. Lucky you. And then 21, I'm going to give you a hint on. So let's read this one together. The swim team is selling cookie dough this week to raise money for the team. The team earns $7.50 per tub of dough that they sell. After selling 48 tubs of cookie dough, the team had $610 in their account. All right, so I'm going to help you set this up. This $7.50 for each tub of dough, per tub. $7.50 per tub. Listen to that unit. See how it's $2 per tub? This guy right there is your rate. And what's another name for rate? Slope. Okay, so you have slope. You also are told 48 tubs, $610. Okay, so this is giving you information to write a point. Think about what's dependent. Would tubs or money be dependent? Money is always dependent. So that means your 610 will be your y coordinate. Your 48 is your x coordinate. Okay, so take a look. You have a slope and a point. And now I want SIF. Since you don't have a starting point, you do need to start in point slope. Okay, so you'll need to write point slope and then distribute and solve for y. And then down here, you just are going to answer some questions. Okay, basically you're plugging some numbers in for either x or y. Okay? All right, so what you need to do now that your video is done is to show your sub your notes so that you get points for doing your notes, and then go ahead and start your homework. You do have a Canvas quiz this week. Tomorrow will be review, and we quiz on Thursday. All right, have a great day. See you tomorrow.